Ads are here. Pausing for ads.
Hello, 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 and welcome back to another live stream. How's it going, everyone? Happy Wednesday. Hope you're all doing well. It's Wednesday. What does that mean? That means we're in the middle of the week. We're definitely actually over the middle of the week. It's even greater. We're now closer to this week than the previous weekend. it's almost over. Just 2 more days. What's new? I got my 3rd rejection now for my light manager. This time, I forgot. Oh, I didn't forget. I didn't know. I had to specifically make sure I had every single file format in Unreal, like T underscore for texture, right? That kind of stuff. Like, okay, I didn't do that for everything. Fair. You know what? Adjusted. Okay. And then it's like, this needs documentation. And so I wrote documentation for my light manager. I'm like, I hate documentation. But I wrote it. And it's done. And then I realized that my light controller doesn't have a an option for brightness. So I was like, shit, I'm going to add that. So if it comes back again, I will add it. Otherwise, I've submitted it for the 4th time. Fingers crossed. If it goes through and it publishes, then I'll make a V2. But at least I'll have something out. I don't know about V2, it'll be like V1.1. Yeah. And then we'll go from there. Other than that, today is exciting Rich Text Day. For all the, the text fields that, have that moolah. Have those dollar bills. So the rich texts. As we found out yesterday, that's apparently a thing. That you can actually customize text quite a bit per word or per letter, per whatever you want. It's kind of crazy. And we're going to do it. Because that's going to make our cars look even better. And I'm excited. So, with that out of the way, let's do this, shall we? Let's do this. Okay. We'll start with, not you. Start with you. So, we're going to have a default setup. Font. Roboto. Will be a regular. Let's actually check what we're currently using. That would be actually the smart thing to do. That would be the smart thing to do. We're currently using Roboto Bold 35. Roboto Bold 35. Bold's easier to read, so let's do the same thing. Roboto Bold 35. The color, I don't know why it's pink by default. I think it might be pink by default, so that way you don't accidentally forget to change the color. I don't know. We can give it a shadow. We're gonna play with this. Let's start with default. Okay, start with default, and let's go from there. We'll break a lot of stuff right now, but that's fine. Okay, what can we close? I don't think we need the HUD anymore. I think we fixed that. Cart selector, I think we're good on. Collection, level up HUD. Yeah, we don't need that anymore. Hard drop. Game mode right now. Yeah, okay. So I need. Can I grab a common? Ooh, I can do a common rich text block. Oh wait, no, sorry, common UI. Common UI plugin. Is there a common rich text block? I'll just use that right away. And is there any way to copy all the transforms and stuff? That'd be nice. I can copy the anchor, but that's it's not great. Anchor's in the center. Five, and then doing 100, 530 to 70, or 180. 180, 530. 80 by 30 to 70. And here, I'm just going to copy all this. View, variable, text, description, health. Okay. Inline icon display, icon only, icon text. Scroll style, text style. Oh, here we go. Our text formatting. Where do I set the text? Ah, here it is. Well, there it is. Okay. We don't want to auto wrap. We've dealt with that auto wrap before. So, although maybe this one doesn't have problems auto wrap. But just to be safe, 520. There we go. Okay. And so now we can do text description both. I assume I can't just plug this in. Nope. Set text. It's almost the same. That. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So, I mean, theoretically, now we should have it just working as it did before, right? Let me open up my... Actually, I don't need to open up anything. I just use this one. Yeah, okay, so this is working. Critical chance increased by 10%. Yeah, so this is all working, okay? Nice. Now, we want to change the like the values, have those be like, say, a different color. And actually, before I do that, there's like a bunch of like options for shadows and stuff. What's with the shadow controls? Let's find out. Shadow offset. If I did like 5 and 5. Shadow color and opacity. Opacity 1, pure black. Great. That's perfect. Let's what does that look like? Oh yeah, I see it. Right there. See? You can see so I think I do use it. But I just let's make it a bit less. And maybe not pitch black. So let's do like 3. And I'll make it instead of 1.0 like 0.7. 0.8, honestly. Transparency. The other thing I'm noticing is it's a little too aligned to the left, so I need to modify this gap, I think. It's a little too close there. But that's better. It has a little bit of a drop shadow. Okay. Let's make this instead of 530, 520. In which case, we need to change this to still 520. Still be 520. But now there's a little bit of a gap on breathing room on either side. Nope. Why is it? Why? Why is it going here? Going here? Going here? Based on distance. Okay. We'll assume it's fine. We'll assume it's fine. This looks fine. The other thing, I want to probably push it off of the top there. A little bit too close to the top. So let's do 90. 190 is probably enough. And then here it's like 2. Okay. Now, so now we have this, right? Stun chance is not a percentage. Let's fix that right now before I forget, because I'm noticing that. Stun chance up. Let's do instead increase chance to stun by variable percent. Yeah. Formatting. Now, can I duplicate this? I can. Awesome. So this one will be our I want to have 2 different colors. One for variable 1, one for variable 2. I'll do variable 1. Instead of 35, let's make this like 50. Make it bigger, better. And then instead of white, what if I made it gold? Let's see how that looks. So the way we need to do this now is in the graph. When we set text here, we also then want to do an append. Middle is here. The output is that. We'll do a select based off of a bool. We'll add. This says custom formatting. If it's true, it will use it. If it's false, it will not use it. So, but if it's using it, then we need to know here what it's putting in. So we need another append, and we're appending a open and a close, and this here is B. Will need to be our row name. We need row name, or actually, I can probably reuse, if I name it the same as the variable string, I can just put that in. Variable string. Let's remove the row name. And I'll have custom formatting on by default. So now it'll use this. Oh, but the no, can't do that, because then this takes the carrots and all. Yeah, so okay, we actually need the row name. Still need row name. Take it back. So here I can say variable 1. I can do variable 1 as well for now, because they're both on. I should use variable 1. Ooh. That's not right. Oh. I know what it is. See? This goes here. I formatted it at the end when I shouldn't have formatted it at the end. It needs to format it here. This too. Yeah, this here needs to be happens. So let's just do this. Right. False 2. There. Okay. It works. It works. Now, one thing I'm already noticing is I like it, but the percentage ones. Right when we have a damage kills enemies under 10%, the percent is lowercase. The percent is right, it's not formatting nicely. So I can make it a bool. I can add another checkbox that say, hey, if do we want to make it a percentage or not? In the card settings. And then I can append it based on that. Is that the best way to do it? Because I do want like 10%. I do want the percentage part of it. Okay. Or no, I mean I can't bring the string because then it. Yeah, let's do it that way. So here are the cards. I need the card tier info. Oh no, I also need not her tier values. Tier values. So here we have show decimal point, and I'll add another one. That is percent. And I'll move this down, actually. Hey, Mohammed, welcome in. What am I making? Right now we're formatting the deck builder. Oh, hold on. File. No. Deck builder. So right now we're setting up the nice formatting. And I'm currently setting up the percentage to also be formatted. So when we do the deck builder, I wanted to also have the percentage as modified there. It's not part of the original. So we're setting up a... Oh, not this. Why is it this? It's because you got deselected. At least I know the fix. That's what we're working on right now. Okay. So here, let's go out here. And we're getting this info. So I can break it. And then I can hide everything except percentage. And here, this row name, when we get that information. No, this is all correct. What I want to do is here, see if we want to append or not. So here we do a select based on this. And if it's a percentage, if it's true, then we're going to append a percent. That's it. So now, if we go through our stuff, so this doesn't have percentages, critical chance up. I have percentage written here. I'm removing this percentage and just say percent in the checkbox. Temporary vulnerability is just regular. This one is also percentage. Let's make it a percentage. Add the percentage here. Here. Should work. Just pretty much right out of the box with this. Yeah, most of these are percentage. Oh, variable 2 is percentage, variable 1 is not. It's variable 2, percentage. Did you code to make the character moving or what? Well, everything's done through blueprints. I've not done any actual, like, C++ programming at all. Because I don't know how to program in C++. And because I'm a visual person, so... I struggle with that. But... blueprints I can do. So the entire game is done in blueprints. Okay, can I make the... let me just make the default here on. Dear God. Just make it on and I'll turn it off where I need to. For the first one, I'll make it on by default. Because most of the ones on the first one are on. So now if I here. Has it realized it? No. Fine. Continue as it was. Makes more sense doing it this way. I just didn't want to. Okay, we're almost done. Once after what, 25 or something, I haven't done, so I'm not gonna go past once I've already. This one doesn't need it, and okay, piercing attack is already we haven't done, so cool. So that's all the ones we need. Nope. Pile, which probably means here. Oh no, that's just selected. Yeah. So now, oh, hold on. Oh, this is not configured yet. Yeah, when you configure the double ones, but the single ones are working. Now he's got to configure the double ones. Is it too big? Maybe it's a little too big. Maybe I make it a little bit smaller. Instead of 50, let's do like 45. Okay. Let's do the double text. So here we gotta do the same thing. Probably just duplicate this. Here, this is going to be melee. Five 266. And that means the wrap should be 255.
Ads are here. Pausing for ads.
Oh, did I not? I don't think I made the other. That's why it looked weird. I didn't make it center justified on the other one. I will do that after the ads. You have so many questions for people who use Unreal Engine. I mean, it is a software for rendering, or you can make any 3D composition just like Blender. It's not a software for rendering. It can render, but it's a game engine. So yes, you can render with it, absolutely, but it's not designed from the ground up as a rendering engine like Blender or a modeling engine. It's not a 3D asset maker. It's a game engine. And now it's slowly introducing like modeling tools and stuff like that, but I wouldn't use it for that. Completely for a different use case. If you want to make games, or you want to make like real-time stuff, then yeah, Unreal's great. Absolutely. Yeah, welcome in. How's it going? Hope you're doing well. Welcome, welcome. Why is it so big? Not copy the right thing. Oh, still 520. Oh, it should be 255. Oh, I see what I did. I know, I did things during ads. I'm the worst. I know. Sorry. Okay. Before I forget, this needs to be center justified. Because that is not set up here. Justification, right? Yeah, that's not set up here. Okay. That's fine. So go back to you. There we go. And now we do the same thing. Just duplicate it. Call it ranged. And I think the only difference here is 38, 180. Yeah. What's that? And then this one just says ranged. Okay, now if I compile it, it's going to complain. Which makes sense. Text for melee, text for ranged. Set text. There's melee. And there's ranged. Okay. So now, our double cards should also be good. Yes! I think it's a little too big. Let's tone it down. I like it, but it is. Let's make it. 40. Just a little bit bigger, but it's not like insanely bigger. I like that. Do I want to, in cars that have two variables, do I want to have it be different colors? Like here. I don't think I might not, honestly. What color would I make it if I didn't have it like yellow? I feel like this is fine. Any value, any number with that is tinted like this, the player will know that, hey, this is the value that changes, right? Because it goes from 2, 3, 5, 5, 7.5, 10, right? It's the number that changes. Everything else is just set in stone, but that's the number that changes. I like that, actually. Yeah. Well, let's keep it like this. Okay. Let's continue setting up the cards. Oh, that's all good. Let's close other tabs. Ooh, hold on. Oh, hold on. What do I do about attacks cards like this? Yeah, we left off on this one yesterday. Attacks pierce behind enemies as well. Or spectral attacks go through objects. I don't know if I can do tiers for this one. If I can't do tiers, I mean, I can set it to be automatically tier 3. And that's the only type it is. Projectiles go through enemies. I could make a system that goes that calculates how many enemies it goes through, and then only work with that. Attacks pierce behind enemies as well. I would need to modify that as well. I think I can do it. And then I can have tiers. Tiers behind. Attacks pierce behind one enemy. Yeah, let's do variable, do 1, 2, 3. And projectiles go through yeah, it's also going to be variable enemies. I will need to program this in. I say program. Blueprint it in, I guess. Spectral attacks. Teleport attacks through objects and projectiles phase through objects. I've been thinking of removing this one. It's a bit confusing. It involves like it's like hitting through walls or through like certain columns, and I think I remove it. I think we don't have it. Just because it's kind of a pain in the butt to set up, and it doesn't really. It's not because it's a pain in the butt to set up. It's mostly because I don't think it's that interesting of a power-up. I think it's more interesting to play around the environment than just to ignore the environment. So I'm going to kill it because of that. Homing shots. Further and wider teleport range. Hey, guys, welcome in. How's it going? You late just got back from work? Well, congratulations. Also, man, you work late. You're home at past 11 p.m. Well, get some rest, you know? Get some rest. Much needed, probably. Instead of further and wider teleport range, increase teleport range by variable and teleport range by variable and what was affect width? I don't think I want to affect width, honestly. Yeah, I'm just gonna increase the range. And the range is gonna increase by, I don't know. 250, 500, so 50. I'll play around with those values. You're tired of ASF? As fuck. Am I cooking? So, we just finished setting up this, where you have the cards now. Have the text in color, including the percentage sign when it's needed. So here, there's no percent, and here it is, and it's now a different color and stuff. And this works the same down here, or like double cards. So we got that formatting with the rich text all working. And right now, I'm going through and through all of the abilities and just figuring out like how we're gonna do them as like tiered systems and setting those up. Yeah. Ooh, okay. So this one is interesting. Increase teleport range by certain thing. Oh, I can do projectiles homing at enemies within certain range. Within within like a certain amount of meters. How am I gonna do this? I want to do feet, but feet doesn't really help us in this scenario because I don't want to deal with conversions. Do I do? I'm just gonna say units within blank units. That's what I'm gonna do. Start with 5,000, 7,500, and 10,000. Oh wait, that's way too far. I know the range on that. Let's start with 2,000. Let's say that's tier 1 me like. $1,500, $2,500, $3,500. Calling units the same as meters? That's fine, but at least if I say meters, it will scare the Americans, right? So I'm just. We all know I'll be calculating it basically in centimeters. We will know that this is metric. But the Americans won't know. They'll just like, it's units. We can think freedom units. Huzzah! Freedom. And they'll be happy. Even though under the hood, it's all centimeters. And they don't need to know that. I will leave if you use meters. No, we're using units now. See? That's why we're using units. We're not using meters. There's no meters here. Don't be crazy. I would never use meters. America. Okay, here's an interesting question for you guys. Glass cannon. Glass cannon. You were afraid? Don't worry. I got you. I got you. America #1, right? Glass cannon is you deal more damage and take more damage equally. A lot of times, like you do double damage and you take double damage. If you had 3 tiers of glass cannon, would you want to tier 1 to be 50%? So you do 50% more and you take 50% more? Tier 2 be 100? And tier 2 be like 150? To keep it like more like in range? Like within like between 50 to 150% extra damage or damage taken? Or do you want it to be like 100% extra damage, 100% more taken, 200% more damage, 200% more taken, 300% more damage, 300% more damage, more taken? That is the, like the 300% more taken is considerably amount of more damage taken. But I feel like for 300% damage, I mean, that's, I feel like we go 100, 200, 300. I mean, honestly. Or does that seem like way too insane? High risk, high risk. Okay, we'll go 100, 200, 300. And these are percentage. Yeah, 100, 200, 300. Done. Dome shield. Block attack. Okay. Okay, so I think the way we're going to change Dome Shield is currently block attacks from all directions. I can have it increase or set your blocking angle to certain values. Or certain degrees. But I can't do... Yeah, I can do checking the sides as well. How do we make the blocking more interesting than all directions? I can just do increased blocking angle by a certain percent or a certain angle. So increase blocking angle by 20%, 40%, 90%, you know, something like that. 9% degrees. I said degrees and all. So that way it won't be 360, it'll be whatever it is. I think that's how we change it. Increase blocking angle by variable degrees. And we'll start by increasing it by it is, let's see what it is right now by default. I might change it to default after I see it, but block half angle. Is set to 20 degrees. So that is at 40 degrees right now. Okay? So, default is 40. Knowing that, I think we increase it by 20 degrees. Tier 1. Tier 2, increase it by 40 and then 60. So, if I did some math, it's at 40 now. You can stack these. So that will put you at 160 degree blocking angle. Um, almost everything in front of you. I think that's not bad. The power up effect that I have on it doesn't really reflect a more directional approach, but I think that's good. Because I don't want you to... Blocking just completely behind you seems a bit strong. I could make it wider so the tier 3 one is all directions. If I did 25, 50, and 75, it would be 190. So just a little over. I could make it like you double on the first one. I could also just increase the base of the first one. Oh, sorry. Double of the first one will be this one will be a 40. So I can, if I increase the base to 50, let's say, that would put me at 200 degrees. Honestly, I think that's fine. Let's leave it. I'll leave it at this for now. Okay. Pull characters in range towards the impact point. We can control the range. Pull all characters within variable units towards the impact point. The range is 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. And same thing here. Push characters away from the impact point. Push characters away variable units from the impact point. And it'll also be like 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. Enable toxic aura that damages enemies over time. Let's be a little more specific here. Toxic aura that deals variable damage per second to nearby enemies. So we can start it at 5 and then do 10, 15. Yep. Fire aspect. Enemies hit catch on fire for 5 seconds, taking dot damage. I will make the first one a variable. It's not 5, it'll be a variable. So we'll make it 5, 7, 10. 5, 7.5, 10, and we'll make it a... no, I'll do whole numbers. 5, 7, 10. And then instead of taking dot damage, I'll just say taking variable 2 damage per second. So, again, it'll be 5, 10, 15 damage per second. Freezing aspect. So, this is something I want to rework at some point. Right now, basically, whenever you hit enemies enough, they take enough frost buildup. They become frozen. It's a certain, it's per hit, basically. It's per hit, is per damage, and there's some math that I did to figure out how I want to do it. So I want to increase how much freezing you do, so you freeze enemies faster and for longer. So, heads build up frost. I'm gonna set a percentage. let's say hits build up variable percent frost. Okay, why did I just delete the? No. I was typing. I wasn't deleting those. That frost per hit. I'll say 1 to 3%. Okay. That might be a little too low. I'll adjust the values. And once they're frozen enough, we'll say variable 2 seconds. So they'll be frozen for 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 7 seconds. So I'll need to figure out a good way of doing this. What I don't want happening is you're just freezing all regular mobs. Because... And that's kind of what's happening right now. It's either, depending on their health pool, you'll either freeze them or you won't. So I might change it to a percentage chance to freeze. On hit. You just do so many attacks that it's... I don't know. One thing I was thinking about is somehow figure out a way of changing all the damage calculations. Right now are per hit. Like when you're hit, all that damage is calculated. But change it instead to be from the attack. So what I mean is, if you do a shotgun AoE of like a bunch of projectiles, right now every single one of them has a chance to crit. But if you do it from the attack, then maybe either all crit or none crit. And that has pros and cons in both methods. I don't know. If we did it, if we swapped it over to like the first method, then maybe there's a way of ignoring multiple hits. I don't know. I'll think of something. Leave a trail of fire in your wake, dealing variable damage per second to those that stand to enemies standing inside. Or enemies inside, not even standing inside, just enemies inside.
Ads are here. Pausing for
5, 10, 15. Hang on. Hey, Red Knight, welcome in. How's it going? Hope you're doing well. Hello, Patrol. Also welcome in. Hope you're also doing well. You always like the game system that had hits incidental unless it was a crit. What does it mean to have a hit being incidental? Can you explain what an incidental hit is? I'm not familiar with the term. If you don't mind. Please elaborate. Because there's pros and cons to both, right? Having it do a snapshot, as some people call it, snapshot attacks versus not snapshots. I prefer the way I'm doing it right now, where every hit has a chance to crit, because I think it's more fun. But I don't know. But it's also really fun when all crit. Like if you have multiple projectiles and you shotgun every single hit crits, I mean that's also nice. If you hit that took the person's turn. Oh, that's in a turn-based system. Yeah, this is not a turn-based game. Yeah, this is unfortunately that's not when they hit, they rolled for crit. Yeah, that's what mine is. But yeah. But if they did multi-hits, if they attack with a shotgun and they got hit by 10 pellets, do each of those 10 pellets crit? Or do you crit, you roll the crit once for all 10? That's really what the question is. Does each one of those pellets have a chance to crit and hit a vital spot? Or is it that you roll crit and that's it? They either all crit or they all crit. Are you doing animation with a new model you just rigged? This is painful. I hate doing animations. Animations are difficult. Amazing animators are just that. Amazing animators. Because it takes a lot of work and effort to be a really good, talented animator. And the best animators are, yeah, just that. Animating. That's usually the case for all things, right? The best effects people are the ones that are doing just effects. I've been doing just like specialized. The specialized people are always going to be the best. People can get shot with a crazy amount of bullets and keep going. Matter of bullets hit. See, now we're just talking like how much HP should something have? Yeah. I think for my case, unfortunately, I don't think the pen and paper method works to translate for what I need to figure out. But I appreciate the help and the explanation. Reflect projectile. When blocking projectile, shoot a copy back at the enemy. Okay, so we can do enemy. Dealing variable percent damage. Yep. So I'll do 50, 100, 150. Do you want to rework or something? No, right now, so we've set up a tiered system for all the power-ups. Right? So now, for example, temporary invulnerability every 40 seconds. Or here, where is it? Health up here. Health up. Restore 25 or 50 or 75 health based on the tier. So we've introduced tiers of cards. So now I'm going through all of them. I'm being like, okay, well, like, what are the actual tiers? So, for example, right, we have healthy being healing is doubled, healing is doubled, healing is doubled. This is still all 1% and no matter the tier. So I'm going through and being like, okay, what are we actually, what are the different tiers going to be? Like, how is a tier 1 different than a tier 3? Right? Because we have like double dash as tier 1. And tier 2 and then tier 3. But actually I could probably leave this. It has +1 dash on all of them. Because it stacks. You'll always put the common one in. Because there's no reason to put the other one. This is the one time. And some of these I might leave. And it'll just stack. Or I can do... I'll think about it when we get to it. We'll think about it when we get to it. Now for my game, I was just thinking about game systems. Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you were... yeah, because I raised a question and I thought you were talking about the thing I asked. Sorry. Hey, Stay Toxic, welcome in. How's it going? Hope you're doing well. Welcome. Heal percentage of max life on kill. So let's do heal variable of max life on kill. And we'll do, this is a show decimal point and percent because we want to do like 25.25%, 0.5% and 0.75%. I can do 1. I'll do 0.75. Okay. This is an interesting one. So healthy. The ability of healthy is it doubles the healing you get. I think because you can put in multiple cards of the same kind, you can put multiple tiers of healthy in. I think we actually leave it on healing is doubled for every single one of them. And it just stacks. So you'll never put a tier 3 card in your deck without a tier 2 and a tier 1 because it's just going to cost more. But if you want to 8x your healing, you would have to put in all 3 of them. Because it'll go from 1x healing to 2x to 4x to 8x. So I want to make it a multiplier. I think we actually do that. And the same thing with the double dash, which we'll rename to, instead of double dash, it'll be like extra dash. It'll do the same thing. Gain an additional dash. So we could do this, or actually, okay, here. This is a question, I guess, for you guys. If you had access to these, right? Let's say you had access to, where are they? The dash, like the healing and the dashes. Would you rather have them? You could put multiple of them into your deck, and then they'll stack. Or whichever one, you could have multiple of them in your deck, but this will be like doubled, tripled, quadrupled. Gain 1 extra dash, 2 extra dashes, 3 extra dashes. And then it'll just use whichever one is the biggest one at the time. So if you want to make sure you have at least 1 extra dash, you can put 3 of them in. And then you'll get 1, 2, or 3. And then you can, if you unlock the 1, you can later on swap it for 3. But if you got the 3, then the other 2 are useless, which is the downside of this method. So I'm leaning towards doing it this way. So you're use only the biggest for the more power up. You'd rather do that? Only the biggest for the biggest power up? Okay. Fair enough. Okay, let's do that. Both have pros and cons, so that's what I wanted to find out. What do you guys think? When things stack, there should be reducing amount of effect. There is a cost to it. Tier 1 costs 1 slot. Tier 2 costs 3. Tier 3 costs 5. So to put all 3 of them in, you're using 9 slots to do that. Which can be considerable. Like 2 cards is less than 2x, as strong as 2 cards. Well, it depends on, yeah. If we go with overwriting it, then that's how it's going to work. But otherwise, if we have healing is doubled, I can't be like, healing is doubled, unless you already doubled it. Right? Then maybe 50%. No, I could make it additive. So its healing is doubled is, instead of healing is double, it'll be increased healing by 100%. And then it'll be 100%, 200%, 300%. Right? Extra healing. Right, we could do the similar thing with that. But I think we'll go with what's suggested, which is going with the bigger ones. So I'll do healing is increased by variable percent. So we'll say 100%, 200%, 300%. Oh, but then it still stacks, right? So if I wanted to, then it would stack to 600% in this manner. This is increased by. I don't want to do 600% healing. That's insane. So you know what? I will make it so they stack. But I will decrease the values. 50% more healing, 75% more healing, 100% more healing. You can get up to 225% additional healing. So you'll set 100% healing, you're getting 325% healing. So that's triple healing. Just over. And the most I'd want to go is just about triple anyway. So I think this works. I think we do this. Healing is increased by 50%, 75%, 100%. I like this. Hey, Ellie boy, welcome in. How's it going? Hope you're doing well. Trying to make houses for your game? Nice. What kind of houses? Big houses? Small houses? Toy houses? Barbie houses? Make sure it has a swimming pool. We all know those Barbie houses have swimming pools. Okay, come on. It's hot. I know it's coming up winter time up here, but... Okay. So, healthy is good. What about extra dash? This one I think we go with your suggestion of setting it to a certain amount of dashes. So we can set it to be something like set dash count, or set available dashes to, no, set max dashes to a variable. The problem with this is that means you end up with 4 dashes. Is that a problem? I don't think it's a problem. I think that's fun as hell because we have abilities like Thunderstab and Booming Arrival that cause explosion at the start and end of your dash. And if you could dash around like 4 times and basically constantly be dashing, that's awesome. I'm worried about it. I'm a little worried about it, so we might change it. 4 dashes might be a little too much. Because dashes have invulnerability frames. What I don't want happening is you be able to just dash everywhere and not be invulnerable, basically, because of it. So some things will probably need to change. Maybe I adjust the invulnerability frames, and then that's the trick to it. We'll see. You don't want speedruns? No. What I don't want is the player basically being God mode because they're using an ability that gives them invulnerability frames and deals damage. So they just can't die easily. Not easily, but just can't die because they're not taking damage. Change the dash range each tier 2. Would you do more dashes, less range? That's an interesting idea. I don't think I will yet, but I think that is a good idea if I wanted to balance it potentially. The other option is, oh, you know what we can do? I can set the max. Ooh, here's an idea. We set the max dashes so you can have one dash by default. Then you can have 2, 3, 4, but we increase the dash cooldown based on how many dashes you have. We'll have another power up that will reduce the cooldown. It's a separate one. But let's say you have one dash, it'll take, let's say 5 seconds for it to refresh. So you can dash every 5 seconds. But if you have 4 dashes, maybe it'll take 15 seconds to refresh. That'll be very high, but I can increase it by like 1 extra second, let's say, per dash. So I'm set max dashes to a variable. So 2, 3, 4. Increase dash cooldown by variable 2 seconds. And this will be 1, 2, 3 seconds. So it will be basically, yeah. You'll have more dashes, but they will take longer to refresh. And then we'll introduce a power-up that reduces that back. Hello, Smirk. Welcome in. How's it going? Hope you're doing well. You watch so many vids on my procedural buildings. You're a beast, my guy, for real. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you liked him. I'm glad you found him helpful. Yeah, this weekend, we're going over grammar, which I will still say is not a good name. Okay? Grammar for a name for inside of PCG, it's not a good name. I don't know if it's like something that's actually, like not something they made up and maybe they used it like as a thing in programming. I don't know. But grammar's a terrible name. It's my one complaint. Something you probably gotta change after people test you? Yeah, absolutely. That's the beauty of this, right? Once we set this up, then we'll be able to like modify these values just dynamically. If we want to change like something later on, like add more or less functionality, we could do that. But if I wanted to, for example, let's say healing is way too high, I can just be like, okay, well, let me just go in here and be like, okay, instead of 100, let's do 80 for tier 3. Tier 3 seems a little too high, right? And we just adjust it basically per tier if I wanted to. Grammar like punctuation, exclamations? No. That's why I say grammar is a terrible name for inside of PCG. PCG grammar basically allows you to use sort of like very, very basic language almost with some like brackets and stuff to specify how you want something to spawn. So you could be like, along this spline, I want to spawn fences, and then I want the end fence post. Then I want the gate, and then I want a start fence post, and then I want fences again. And I want this to happen in the middle of my spline. You can do that with just a little string. So the name grammar is bad, but you're able to do stuff like that with grammar inside of PCG. Not actual English grammar. Yeah. It is a technical term called grammar. Okay. Dash damage. So Thunderstep is damage at the start of the the start. So I create a small explosion at the start of your dash. We're gonna say How would I specify a radius? That's a good way of saying cause a 200 unit radius explosion. I guess unit radius explosion. It's a little wordy. But I want to specify the radius of it. And I also want to say dealing variable 2 damage to all enemies in range. So let's say 500, 750, 1000 radius, dealing 5, 10, 15. Again, all of these numbers that say dealing 5, 10, 15 damage, they all scale off of all of your other power-ups, right? If you got glass cannon, whatever, that's all going to scale it. Keep in mind your regular attack is 25 damage. But you attack quite quickly. Or the Frontier do damage to enemies, you go through with your dash, so it makes you have 1 less dash. Damage to enemies, you go through with your dash. I have a separate one. Dash Intangible is a separate ability that you're able to dash through enemies. We're about to get to it. I don't know what I'm going to be... Start thinking of how to make that into a tier system. Being to dash through enemies. I mean, I can guess dash... I can't really dash through... I don't know how to make that one tiered. That one's going to be hard. Okay, point blank. Deal more damage the closer the enemy is to you. Currently, it says 20% more damage at melee. So that can be a variable. Variable more damage at melee. Okay, so we'll say if you're hitting someone on melee, it's going to be at 10, 15, 20. At a number of enemies you can dash, and if you can cap that, the dash stops. The problem with that is I don't think that's gonna feel good when you're actually in the game, right? Because let's say you're getting surrounded and you want to, like, oh shit, you want to dash, and you just like, and you're just surrounded, but like in one side there's slightly more, on one side there's slightly less, and you choose the one that's slightly less, but the enemy just to hitbox just a little bit over, and it's like, nope, it's not gonna work. I feel like it could have like not fun results where you're kind of like fighting it and being like, well, it's clearly like enough, like why? The idea is good, but I think in practice it's not going to be as nice. You're in the past though, so you might have changed the subject. In the past. You're gonna have to translate that one. As you were just away from the keyboard, I assume. No worries. That's fine. So, 10, 15, 20. Oh, in the past. Master Yi spell from League of Legends. Oh, the one where he teleports to like enemies. Watching the delay. Yeah, I got it now. I got it now. That makes sense. Okay. Dash through enemies. The way it's currently set up is my character stops colliding with enemies. Are you doing a tier for a dash move? Yes. We did a tier for a dash move. Yeah, all of these are dashes. So we could set the number of dashes. But I need to figure out a way of where you change the dash distance based on the tier. Oh, you know, sorry, units. Yeah, there's no meters here. You know what? That's actually an interesting way of doing it. What we can do is for it changes your dash distance to be much shorter, but then it always is dashing through enemies. So what we can do is, instead of the full range of your dash, let's say it's 10% your distance, but you go through enemies 100% of the time. Or it's 20% of your distance of the full dash, but you go through enemies 100% of the time. I like that. That way we don't need to worry about changing the dashing through enemies part. We change the distance you can dash, which automatically controls that. Think about what the power up provides and then slice that. Yeah. Okay. So dash through enemies. But what's wrong with meters? Sorry, what is this? What is this? We only speak in freedom? What is this meters you speak of? We only use freedom units here. America. Meters. Some people, my goodness. Feet, exactly. Feet and inches, exactly. Yes, we're gonna go dash through enemies, but oh. Okay, we'll finish it after the ads. Yeah, everything. I'm using the word units here. We all know that it's centimeters under the hood for Unreal, but you know we can't be mean to our people here. By our people, I mean my people. I don't know where you guys are from. You're all over the place, but the people, my people. Yeehaw, people. I don't know why I just basically made it sound like all Americans are cowboys with that, but you know what? We'll go with it. We'll go with it. Us cowboys need our feet or inches. Hey, Guts, you're American? Because you're a cowboy? Cowboy people. This America's a continent. True. True. You're a baguette. I want. Hold on. What is the? Is there? I am. Hold on. If we're gonna go, what bread? Hold on. Have I ever had this bread? So, I googled where I came from, like my original country, and I'm like, hey, is there a bread that originated there? Okay. And I'm like, okay, well, I've never heard of it. Like, I'm gonna Google the pictures to see what it looks like. I have about 4 pictures of bread. Okay. That all look slightly different. And then the majority of them, the majority of the pictures are this. So, this is the bread where I come from. If you're wondering, I'm this thing. Okay? This is my bread. Because on Google Images, that is basically also the first image. The first image is this thing. The second image is a bread. Third image is this. Fourth image is also this. Fifth image is this. Sixth image is this. Seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th. And then we have bread again. So the top 10 images, this is 9 out of 10. So, yes, this is... Oh my god. Give another question? Well, now you have to ask it. And if you oh, I got a quick question. Oh, okay. I'll set the timer. Okay, you got 10 seconds. You got 10 seconds for your quick question. Otherwise, only regular questions allowed. Sorry, ran out of time for quick questions. Regular questions only, please. Thank you. You've never had a telegraph for breakfast? No. It says the Telegraph. Like, I'm pretty sure that's a magazine called the Telegraph. That wasn't the name of the thing, of the drone or whatever it was. That was, I'm pretty sure, the name of the magazine that just happened to have it on their website, so they put their title there. C++ is better or Blueprint for Unreal Engine? Neither is better. Ideally, you use both. Like, if you know both. But you can make a game exclusively in C++, and you can make a game exclusively in Blueprint, depending on what you're doing. There's no such thing as better. Depending on what you're doing, it's one or the other is easier. So, if you only know Blueprints, just make a game with Blueprints. I'm making a game exclusively with Blueprints because I don't know C++. And it's a single-player game, so I don't see any reason to, kill myself over learning C++. Because I'm just not a programmer. It's so boring for me. I can't be bothered. But if you know C++ and you don't know any Blueprints, you can pretty much make a game 95+% in C++, if not 100. So, I'm sure Blueprint in general, but C++ for things you can't do with Blueprints, yeah. There are certain things you can't do in Blueprints. Like if you're doing a multiplayer game and you're doing server stuff, yeah, we're gonna need C++. If you're making a single player game, starting out, you do pretty much everything in blueprints. I thought it was a telegraphed. No. No, that was the name, like a magazine name. That was a telegraph missile. No. Blueprints are really powerful, just not 100% efficient, but nothing else. Exactly. And I tell people, like, depending on the kind of game you're doing, and the kind of like stuff you're doing, I'll tell you, if you make your models and your textures and your lighting and basically your environment, what's it called, entirely unoptimized, it doesn't matter how optimized your blueprints are or your C++ is, it'll still not be performant. So just because C++ is a bit faster than blueprints in certain scenarios doesn't mean that just because you use it, your game will be optimized, right? There's so much other stuff that needs to be optimized and you need to think about in like the grand scope of a game, that just make it with whatever you want. And if there's something that you can only do in C++ that you really want to do, then learn C++ for that. Or if you're doing C++ and there's something that you really want to do, but it's difficult in C++, but you might be simple in blueprints, do it in blueprints. Just, yeah. Don't feel like you have to do one or the other. Don't let anyone tell you that. Do, as long as you get, as like Al said, whatever gets the project out, do it. Don't feel like you have to, yeah, suffer that. Okay. Double jump. So we have the same kind of thing as we were doing with dashes, but double jump doesn't really have a cooldown. There's no cooldown for jumping. You just keep jumping. So I mean, I can just set it to be like set max or add like X amount of air jumps, right? And I mean, it's fine to just balance it like that, yeah. Instead of double jumps, it's more jumps, and we'll say add variable mid-air jumps. So that way, and we'll do 1, 2, 3. So tier 1 will allow you to double jump. Tier 2 will be triple jump and then quadruple jump. I don't see any reason to balance it out, honestly, because it's jumping. All the enemies are on the ground. You can't attack from the air. I see no real this is gonna be nice for navigation, potentially. You can jump over enemies, but you can jump over enemies on a single jump, as is. You don't need even double jump to jump over enemies. So I think this is fine. Okay. So if we take a look now. Your blender is using drugs. I have the same keyframes for each sides, but not the same rotation. Oh, I know why that is. Does it spaz out in one side? Is it smooth on one side, but it spazzes out on the other side? What's that called? Quaternion? Is it Quaternion? Rotation? No. What's the name for it? Oh no, it's not. It's gimbal rotation. I'm thinking gimbal rotation. So, do you guys know what gimbal rotation is? By the way, if not, I'll explain it. Gimbal rotation is something that you don't, that you really need to know if you're ever gonna do any kind of animation. Because it is a thing. Blender is using Quaternion. So it doesn't, so it's fine. It doesn't suffer from gimbal. In that case. No, it still has it. Oh, it has Euler modes. Oh, that was in Euler mode. Yeah, it has Quaternion mode. Yep. Oh, cool. Yeah, Blender has Quaternion. So Blender might not have this issue, but for anyone that doesn't know, if you're doing regular rotation, the way it works under the hood, and I don't know if Unreal uses suffers from gimbal lock. Does Unreal Engine suffer? Yeah. Unreal suffers from gimbal lock. There's stuff from January 23, how to fix gimbal lock. So gimbal lock, I'll explain real quick. Right, this is your regular rotation. You can rotate on the Z, on the X, or on the Y. But when you rotate one of them 90 degrees, let's say you rotated X here on its axis 90 degrees, it is technically now on the same rotation as Z. I'm actually using Euler rotation, crying about it to get, yeah, so you can get, so this, because I know this happens in Unreal. So basically now, right, so you rotated your X rotation 90 degrees, and so your Z and your X are on the same plane. And so now you want to rotate it this way. You want to rotate it along this axis, right, like this way. Well, when you do that, you now are rotating also Z and X, right? You're now rotating multiple things for this to happen. So that's why when you sometimes rotate like one of the axes, the other axes change. You might have noticed that in Unreal. That's why. Because it has to rotate and flip the axes for it to work. Here, I'll actually, probably easier if I do over. Right, so this one rotated this way. And then if I wanted to rotate it this way, over, then I would have gimbal lock issues. Because there is no axis I can grab to rotate it that way. And it might do it, but it'll also, the X, Y, Z of all the rotations will not be like logical. It'll start making, like, it'll start flipping them or rotating them or be whatever. And then there's after that, there's also this, which prioritizes a certain axis basically over another. So yeah, there's it depends on which one you goes first in its calculations or rotations. It's a whole thing. It's a pain in the butt. it's cool that Blender has Quaternion and doesn't deal with this. Unreal still deals with this. So, I wonder how that translates. If you animate something in Blender with Quaternion, I guess theoretically you could get a gimbal lock and spazzing out in Unreal when it swaps over. Theoretically. Am I good at sculpting in Blender? Never tried. Never tried sculpting. I'm primarily a Maya user that's been learning Blender, but not like super like hardcore learning Blender. It's like, hey, I need to do X thing. Let's go ahead and look up how to do the X thing. I haven't needed to sculpt since I swapped over, so I don't know how to do that. Look at that! All our stuff is in. So the max dash is 2. Increase dash cooldown by 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. You want to make assets and characters, but you're shit at sculpting? Those are 2 different skills also. Bias free rate? that's funny, Red Knight. I like your sense of humor. Assets, like hard surface assets and characters, are different skill sets. Just keep that in mind. Yeah, let me just, for those that don't understand the joke. Okay. This is Canadian, fair, okay? This is about, what, $1,500 to $2,000 a year for this software? Or like $250 a month? Or whatever it is. Okay, you can buy a 3-year plan. Use Blender. It's better. Ever since I swapped over to Blender, for like my home system, I'm like, oh, yeah. Blender's just awesome. Blender's just awesome. I mean, like buildings? Or is that and characters? So, you don't need to sculpt a lot for hard surface. Depending on what you're doing, like, you don't need to sculpt that much. Now, you want, depending on like the style and whatever you're doing, you might want to, like, sculpt its chip damage and stuff like that, right? But it's entirely different than sculpting a character. Like, skill-wise, like, completely different. Because, well, I can't sculpt characters to save my life, but I'm not a character person. I've never really learned characters much. I'm a hard surface guy, environment guy. Yeah. Don't do this, get Blender. And in most studios, including where I work, you just get an option. Like, if you want to use Maya, use Maya. If you want to use Blender, you can use Blender. Like, I think we even have 3ds Max available. You can use modeling in UE5 and put a material. Character, I mean, you could definitely do that. I would recommend doing it in Blender. Blender is free. Blender is free. I recommend Blender. By the way, guys, multi-hit and greater multi-hit, right? The abilities right now are, for melee, damage dealt is calculated twice or 3 times. But, so basically, if you hit someone, right, and let's say your attack does 10 damage, it does 10 damage twice, or 10 damage 3 times. Which, depending on some of your abilities, you might have something on hit re-trigger multiple times. I don't know if that's the best way to do it. I'm curious if you guys can think of a better way. The reason multi-hit isn't actually doing the animation multiple times is because I didn't see a point to lock your character in place to do the animations multiple times when you could just spam left click and it gets you the same result. Like, it wouldn't get anything. In games like Path of Exile or other games where you have like a mana source or something that like uses a resource, it makes sense that multi-hit does the animation multiple times because you're just not using the resource. But there's no resource here. So the way I figured, you know what? Let's make it so damage is calculated multiple times. And for projectiles, it's just you actually just shoot extra projectiles. So yeah. Actually, using Blockbench for model and Blender for rig and animation. Blockbench for model, Blender for rig and animation. I don't think I've heard of Blockbench. But as long as it works, it works. Also, I just had a realization. Oh, shit. Okay, I had a slight realization just now. For melee, I say damage is calculated twice. Variable less damage. Or damage is calculated, why do I say twice here as well? Thrice. Variable less damage. The problem is this stacks. We have a slight problem I need to figure out. Okay, hold on. Where is it? Here. Multi-hit. I'll even zoom. Multi-hit. Damage dealt is calculated twice, 20% less damage. Cool. For melee. For ranged, add 2 extra projectiles to every shot, 20% less damage. There's 3 of these. That means you could have 2, 4, 6, 8, 6 projectiles added from this 3 times. And then there's this one, which is 4, which also has 3 tiers. So it could be 12, 14, 16, 18 extra projectiles. Now, the damage reduction stacks. The damage reduction stacks. But I feel like this is a problem. I think we changed the numbers on these. I think instead of multi-hit doing 2 extra projectiles, it does 1 extra projectile on each one of these. And greater does 2. I think we do that, and then we can, and then you could have like 3, and then 6 here. You can have 9 extra projectiles, putting you at 10 total. 10 total is a lot more manageable because previously my max was 7, which is it is more, but I think it's gonna be at least usable. And for Minecraft, I can output OBJ for game engines. Why? Well, I guess depending on the kind of meshes you're making, I mean, that probably was going to work. Yeah, let's change this. So we're going to add 1 extra projectile for every shot. I'm gonna make this a variable as well. Variable 2. And I'm going to change this melee version as well. Add We make this all 1 in every tier. But we can change it if we need to. Add 1 extra projectile to every ranged attack. To every projectile attack. And then variable less damage. Or variable, percent less damage. And then for the greater multi-hit, it's add, not 4. Not 4. Give me 2. 2 extra projectiles to every shot. Again, variable less damage. Okay, but how do we then scale melee? Okay. Damage dealt is calculated twice. We don't want twice. We just want to do damage is calculated an extra time. Uh, 2 extra times. Actually, this is the greater one. Does that make sense? Damage is calculated an extra time for melee. So if you attack with a melee, all damage calculations is effectively an additional time. So if you had 3 of them, you would have your damage 3x or 3x or 4x because you had the original. But then you have percent less damage. So if I did the math, it'll be 400 percent damage times 0.8 times 0.85 times 0.9. So you would be doing with all of them 244% damage. That seems like a lot. That seems like way too much. I need to rebalance this. I need to rebalance my numbers. Yeah. We need to do a bigger damage reduction on these, both in greater and lesser. I can't go 50%. 50% means 2 hits, and that means you're at the same damage. So 50 is the highest I can go. Right now, 20 is the highest I went for this one. But for the greater one, I went to 40. So I think we go with the same 40 here. 40, 35, 30.
Ads are here. Pausing for ads.
I'll do the math after the ad break. But for now, I'm going to use the restroom real quick. I'll be right back. Oh, spooky sounds. I'm back. I'm back. I guess what we need to calculate is how much damage should the character do when he attacks with 4 projectiles. How much damage should a character do with 4 projectiles? So, with 4 projectiles, let's say I'd want... What if we made it so each projectile effectively adds 10% damage? So if you had 2 projectiles, it'd be 110% total damage if you both of them hit. 2 projectiles would be, then every one would be 10. So that means it's 55% damage. 55% damage per. So what we can do then is let's start with 45% less damage. And then we can go 40 and 35. So then, if we did the math, we start at 400% times 0.55 times 0.6 times 0.65. Wait, we end up less. We end up being less. No. Math stacks a lot. 40, 35, 30. Where I was going before. I don't want to. You end up doing less total damage. That would be bad. 400 times 0.6 times 0.65 times 0.7. No. 5, 30, 25. Times 0.65 times 0.7 times 0.7. Okay, so we can do that. That's where we want to be. 35, 30, 25. Okay? So when you're doing 4 projectiles with this combo, you're doing 136% damage total. So if everything hits, you're doing 36% more damage, which is nice. Now, if we did it on greater, and also do the same numbers, 35, 30, 25. So this one adds 2. So you're going to go, instead of 400% damage total, if you got all 3 of them, then you would have the 100 begin with, then 1, 2, 3, you get a 700% total damage, times 0.65 times 0.7 times 0.75. You would do 238% damage. So this one needs to be probably 40, 35, 30. So, oh, actually, this one could go even higher. This one could be 50% less damage because you're doing 3 hits. What's the math? 700 times 0.5 times 0.55 times 0.6. 115. Not quite that low, but we're close. We're probably 45, 40, 35. And then we'll see it all together. I want to combine it all. I just want to make sure that it scales like properly. At all these values. So 700 times 0.55, 0.6, 0.65. Okay, 50% more damage that way. So now if we did both of them, which would be 1,000, so it'd be 10 projectiles. It'd be 1,000 projectiles, right? Then we did times 0.4 times 0.55, 0.6, 0.65. And if we did this as well, I think we'll end up being lower if we combine. 0.65, 0.7, 0.7. Yeah. So if you combine them, you end up being lower. Which is also what I had math-wise before as well. If you did just one or just the other, it works. If you did both, then you end up being lower than total damage. Now, is that fine? I think that's fine. You're making the conscious decision doing this. The alternative is we don't make this multiplicative, we make it additive. Well, additive is worse. Additive would be worse, because 35% plus 30% plus 25% would be 65, 70, 90% there. That would be worse. Yeah, because then it would be 700 times 0.1, which is 70, which just means it's worse. But I think I keep it as is. It'll be same multiplicative because it just seems like a better option. It'll be more straightforward. But it'll be up to the player to decide whether or not they want the extra projectiles for potentially actually lower damage. If they take only one of them, then they should be fine. For example, if they went from 100% to 200% at even the worst one, which is 0.35 down, that's still 30%. Oh, hold on a second. That's 30%. 300 times 0.3 or 0.7. Ooh, wait. Wait. Okay, hold on. We got a problem. It is actually extremely inefficient to take multiple of these. To a very high degree. And is a lot of damage when only taking one. How do you balance this? What's the math on it that we need to do to balance multiple projectiles? Yeah, because if I have just one extra projectile, so I'm 200% damage because it's double, and then if I got like a tier 1 even, which is the worst one, that means I'm doing 30% more damage. And if I got the best one, a tier 3 one, 30% more damage is a lot. I wasn't expecting 30% more damage. So what I want to happen... Well, explain to me. I wasn't paying attention. So let's open up Trusty Paint and flashbang everyone. Every single time. So if you shoot one projectile, you're doing 100% damage, right? If you're shooting 3 projectiles, well, you're effectively doing 300% damage, right? Because the 100% gets multiplied by 3 because there's 3 projectiles now. But this is extremely unbalanced. So what needs to happen is these projectiles now do less damage per projectile. So let's say instead of 300% damage, it's now 130% damage. Total. So each one of them then does 43.3% damage. So total, you're still got a. Well, I guess this would be 120 because it's 2 additional. 120%. Whatever. You get the point. Be 120% damage for 3 projectiles. If all of them hit. So what is a good way of explaining that to a player? What if we said, okay, how does this sound? I'll rephrase slightly, but like gain an extra projectile, and then total damage increases by 10%. I feel like that would not. You would think that it's every projectile is increasing by 10%. So I feel like it needs to be shared in X projectiles. Okay. I like that. Now, how do you rephrase that for melee attacks? Increase your total damage by... Oh, I guess... Yeah, it'll be the same thing. It'll increase your total damage by 30%. And then... damage divided by all melee attacks? All calculated melee attacks? It's a little messy, but I like, yeah, we can do it that way. And then we can see just how many projectiles you have, multiply it by that, add it. Yes. Okay, hold on. Let's do this. So here, add, add 1 extra projectile to every projectile attack. Instead of variable less damage, we say variable more damage, but split between all projectiles. So add 1 extra projectile to every projectile attack. And then 30% or 10% more damage, but split between all projectiles. This still has the problem. Okay, so this still has a problem. The problem is now we're saying more damage. Let's say I do like 1 extra projectile, and I say 10% more damage. More means multiply. So if I got another one of these cards, this should be, instead of 1.0, it'll be 1.1 times another 1.1. Which will be 1.21 instead of 1.2, because they're not adding them. So that needs to be communicated. Or I'd like that to be communicated. It doesn't have to be. I'd like it to be. So add an extra projectile to every attack. Percent more damage, but split between all projectiles. Um, if I say increased, that means additive, but I want it to be multiplicative because additive is a separate pool than multiplicative. Everything that's additive currently gets just added together and multiplied. So 10% is actually 10%. But multipliers are multipliers. That's where the damage dealers are. And most things are multipliers, I'm realizing. Split between all projectiles. I could say like additive within other percent more damage. I could say in parentheses maybe additive between additive with other multi-hit type cards. That's a lot of words. Yeah, that is way too many words. Also, I think even this is too many words. Oh, even this is too many words. I can make the text on those smaller. I can make the text on those smaller. So add, let's do gain. Want just blank extra projectiles. Let's do that. Let's shorten that. Will this type of thing happen a lot in the game? What type of thing? Where you get this card, or what do you mean? Because you could specify how many, if you want these cards in your deck or not. Right, you can. So if you want to do these kind of runs, it'll happen 100% of the time. Or it'll happen 0% of the time if you're not interested in it. You want to do a different kind of run. No, it shouldn't. It shouldn't. Ideally, what I want to do is just do a math that just says percent less damage. So, I guess, what is the math? That's what I really need to figure out, right? What math do I need to do for one projectile is 100, two projectiles is 110, three is 120. But the problem is we have it divided into cards. So maybe I just say screw it. I do multi. If I here's what I'm thinking. Here's what I'm thinking. I'll do 45% less damage, 40 and 35. A multi-attack or multi-hit. That means tier 1 will give you 110% total damage, then 115, and then 120. Or something like that. Some math like that. Is it right? 200 times 0.65. 130%. So you're going for 110, 120, 130. If you decide to take multiple of them, I'm putting that on the player. So if you want to take 2 of them and say, I want, you know, instead of like 2 projectiles, you want 3. That's not fun. That's not fun, though. Damn it, we need fun. Shit. It's all because it's a multiplier. That's the problem. I need... You know what I need? Is what I'm realizing. I need keywords. So the player can grab tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 projectiles. With different math for tier 3? No. No. They all... I want them all to stack. I want them all to work together. The alternative is... Yeah, keywords would help a lot. Here's the other alternative we can do, actually, for this, that I'm thinking. What if we did, we can introduce a keyword, like, unstackable. Unstackable can mean does not stack with other cards of the same kind. Okay? So you cannot have multiple multi-hit cards. It'll just use whatever the best one is. Well, we can introduce our first, and then it becomes a lot easier. In the final game, we're gonna do that now. What do you mean, final game? Do that now. We're doing that. I think that's how we do it. And then we can go back to having multi-hit doing 1 extra projectile, then 2, then 3. And then I can do variable less damage. Can you finish the third? For just the text stuff, yes. The actual functionality, no. But the text stuff, yes. Like it'll display property. So we're gonna do gain X extra projectiles, variable less damage. So the variable less damage is on one it's 45, then 40, and 35. Oh, wait, does this need to increase instead of decrease? No. I'll leave it like this: 45, 40, 35, because it's gonna depend. And then on the greater one, it'll be the same thing: 45, 40, 35, but instead of 1, it's 2. And actually, if I do 300 times 0.4, so actually it's decreased by 100 times 0.3. So we'll go with 0.4. So decrease it by 60%, 55%, 50%. Okay, and then what we do is at the end here we say unstackable. And we want to put that in. Actually, I want to put it at the beginning. The first world is going to be unstackable. No. At the end's better. At the end's better. I want the main one is the ability. And doesn't need a period. Okay. And then for the melee is damage calculated 2 extra times. Percent less damage, unstackable. There we go. Okay. I think that's actually the best way. Start introducing our stuff. So the way we do this now is first we check that it all fits. Yes, it all fits. Okay. Again, I might change the font size on those later. So now what we need to do is go grab our cards. That's under UI. And here, when we get the tier info, we need to do another replace. And also, we're going to need to grab the card formatting. So we'll do, this is unstoppable. And I meant unstackable. Paste that in. The color of this can make it like this orange is red. And because we have done this already, actually, I don't need all of this info. This doesn't matter. So then I can do replace unstackable to I need to be
ads are here. Pausing for ads.
Oof. I don't think I figured it right. It's because there's a period here. Periods will do that. Periods will do that. We'll see it after the ads. That's what I get for like trying to do it during an ad. Gotta wait for the ads.
XTD Boo gets scared. I'm sleepy, but I have so much to do.
What an amazing voice for that one. That was mwah. That was beautiful. I love that. That's the most anticlimactic thing ever. Oh, it picks a random voice now entirely. So you just happen to guess a child's voice. But I think that was, I think, the best. Also, go to sleep if you're sleepy. You know what you do is stay up. Sleepy time, best time. Okay. So, yes, it works, but a couple problems here. First of all, too big. So I'm gonna keep it the same size. I don't like this. So you must do stuff. You have to do stuff. What's sleeping? I think I want it at the beginning. This case, at the end looks bad. Or you know what? Instead of doing it on, you know what? I will do this later separately. I need a place to put these. That's not in the text. Because I don't need it to say it multiple times. I don't need it to say, I need to only say it once. And for something like this, like a single card, it makes sense to just put it like at the bottom or something, right? Unstackable. But for the double cards, it doesn't make sense to have it in every single text. So I either need a different setup for this. What's the good way of doing this? I think our main problem is the size of the text for these. I think that's our main problem. Like, it's fine for these. That's because we have double the room, or more than double the room. It's not fine for these. If I made it smaller, I just want to see what it looks like. Say 30. I mean, 30 is better. Honestly, maybe I'll just keep it 30. Compared to 35 I would have had before. I do want to put this at the beginning, probably. Okay, here's what I'm thinking. I think we make a little... Instead of the text going all the way down to the bottom where it currently is, we have a little bottom section. And we can put little icons here. And an icon will be based off of like one of them will be like unstackable, right? And when you hover over the card, it'll pop up the stuff. It'll pop up the info for it, like on the side. Show melee for melee and range for range? Can't. Because you can have both in a run. In fact, there are abilities that literally let you do that as an attack. So, Airblade, spawn a projectile with melee attacks. So you are doing both. You can also be meleeing and blocking. And then there's attacks like Mirror Rocket. When blocking a projectile, shoot a copy back at the enemy, dealing 50 damage. That's meant to be a percent. 50% damage. So this shoots projectiles back. So all the cards that are projectile based would also work here, even though you're doing melee as your main weapon. The idea behind this is I want every single card to have something that works for both melee and ranged. So you're not like, oh, I'm doing melee now, I'm doing range now. No. You're playing the run. You play however you want. You want to go melee? Go melee. You want to do ranged? Ranged. That's the idea behind it. Where is it? Okay, which one was the one that I just looked at that was bad? Oh my god, I just blinked on it. It was reflect projectile. Yeah, percent. I mean, that's cool. Yeah. That's. I don't want the thing early on. I decided was, a lot of games, like you have certain upgrades that will work like with a certain type of weapon or certain type of whatever. No, I really like that in Binding of Isaac. Your power up, your pickups, your power ups that you get, the passive ones, will work with anything. They'll either change your stuff to work with it, or they will make it work with it. And just because Binding of Isaac has only projectiles, but I really wanted melee because I love melee. And so I didn't want to take away the fact that I can grab any power up and have it work with it. So whether you're using melee or using a ranged, it should work with it. And if it can't, then it needs to have a melee version and a ranged version of that ability. That's pretty much what I decided early on. That's why some of them are just like the full thing, like spawn on projectile with melee attacks, right? That's just a thing. Like critical chance increased by 15%. That doesn't matter if you have melee or range. But some stuff, like if we go instead of just the double attacks, if I come here, homing attacks. Homing attacks is easy to do for ranged, right? Projectiles home in on enemies within a certain range. What do you do? Well, how's homing attacks for melee? Well, you have a teleport attack. Well, now you can just increase the range in which you teleport attacks. So instead of the projectiles going to the enemy, because they're homing in on the enemy, instead you go to the enemy yourself from further distance. So you are the homing attack. So there's an equivalent thing for every card, whether you want to go melee or you want to go ranged. I am thinking that I want to introduce a full screen button for this, because depending on your resolution or your screen size that I'm looking at right now, this might be hard if you want to look at it like in a smaller window for whatever reason. This is hard to read. So maybe what I'm going to introduce is like a right click option. And if you right click, then it will show it full screen. Just the one card. I think I'll add that. I think that'll be good. That'll be a good quality of life thing. But yes. Okay. The main thing is, yeah, we're gonna put this unstoppable thing. We're gonna add little icons here. We're gonna have little just what you'll know what it is, and we'll have a little pop-up. And we'll set that up tomorrow. I think that'll be our thing tomorrow. We'll introduce what's it called? Mike, believe me, my brain isn't working either. The thing that I've been talking about. Idea for long description, but it's actually bad. Show the description your mouse is on, and use a mouse to show melee or range for gamepad. Yeah. What I want is it to be all visible at a glance. I don't want to I don't want it to be like you have to fight for it. So like for example, when it's in your deck here, right? You see how it's you don't even see the ability name? because it's in your deck, you know what it is. You added it. You can hover over it and you get the information. It opens it up and you get the information. But I want to just look at it and have the info on everything. I don't want to have to work to know what the card is. Having to navigate to read kind of sucks IMO. Well, that's why I don't want to... Yeah, exactly. I don't want to navigate. I don't want to move my mouse here to read the text. I just want to read the text like I am now. It's nice and visible. Cool. Let's do that. And then the ones in your deck, that doesn't matter. You already know what they are because you added them. And then if you don't know, you could check and get it here, or you could still look at them here. And they're grayed out, darker, so you know they're in your deck. So you know, oh, I have this one, this one, this one. So yeah. So yeah, I think I'll introduce those icons, and then we'll probably add those icons. Well, we won't need to even add them icons to the bottom ones, because when you select them, you'll have them again if you want more info about it. Yeah, we'll do that. Or we could put the icons in a different location. We could put the icons like top left and have them go down here, so that way it doesn't interfere with the text. That might be a better idea. We could have the icons kind of like over here, and then just have them like going down, like just the side, or on the right and going down, just somewhere. I like the idea of having them going vertically, kind of. Yeah, I think we go with that. Or top-down descriptions. Top-down descriptions. What do you mean? Top-down descriptions. The descriptions that go all the way from the top of the card to the bottom of the card? Like the text starts up here and then goes all the way down from here all the way down. Is that what you mean, top down? Because they're already going from the top of the section down. That'll follow. If you guys think of more keywords that can do things, I'm open. I am open. But I think we deal with that tomorrow. My brain is clearly fried. It is late. We did good. We have nice formatting. Well, nicer formatting now. We're introducing now. I still blanking on the name. I think Guts, you said the word for it, and I can't even find it. I mean, if not you, someone else said it. Or maybe I said, I don't know what these are called when you have the specific, like a word that does something. Someone said it, and now I just, whatever. I'm my brain frayed. My brain frayed. It looks nicer now. We did good stuff today. Yay. Melee description over range description. Oh, I see. Instead of dividing them side by side, you want like top to bottom. I looked at that. I didn't like the formatting as much. Keyword? Is it just keyword? See, my brain is completely... Yeah, my brain is fried. That's it. I also need rest. It's been a day. God, I can't believe keyword. Can't remember that. Yeah, we'll set up keywords tomorrow. If you guys think of any keywords for whatever reason, I mean, we'll start thinking of stuff. You can start implementing that in somehow. We'll need more variables added to cards, more control. We'll figure it out. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed it. Back tomorrow at 6:30 Pacific for some more game dev. We'll continue working on the deck builder. till next time, guys. Take care. Bye bye.